If you are a freelancer, an entrepreneur, or a school student, even somebody who just has ADHD and you are struggling to keep track of your to-do list and all of the things that you have going on in your life, then ClickUp is a really great tool to help you move away from notebooks and onto an online space that just simplifies your life and simplifies the way that you manage your time and your productivity. It allows you to separate your task lists so that they are each in their own category, and it gives you an overview of everything that you've got going on in a really organized manner, allowing you to see it in a calendar and in different formats so that you can manage just everything better: your time, your productivity, your clients, your projects. And it's totally free and it's really easy to use once you have the knack of it. So I've created this 20-minute tutorial that will help you move away from notebooks and having a long mental to-do list that's just giving you stress and taking up a lot of mental energy, and putting everything onto this online platform that will just free up so much space, not only in your mind but also with your stress levels and with what you can plan for the future. I hope it helps. I've started with a fresh account and I am going to show you how to set up a blank workspace, because I find the templates didn't really work for me, and I know how daunting it can be to come onto one of these workspaces for the first time and not really know how it all works. So I'm going to head over to add a new space, and I'm just going to call the new space Weekly Organizer, but you can call it whatever works for you. There are templates available, but like I mentioned, I'm just going to create something from a blank slate. And I'm just going through all of these until we get to ClickUp Apps, where I will add time, estimates, and email. And then here, quite an important step is to add the mind map, the calendar. Workload is a nice one, and timeline is a good one as well. And then we'll create our space. We'll head over to our weekly organizer on the left hand side here. And in this list, which is our overall list for the whole workspace, we'll go to the to-do list. The to-do list is a great one to keep for kind of your running day-to-day to-do list. And we will just add a few new statuses. So one of the statuses can be admin. These are just general lists that will work for any small business or solopreneur. And then we will add branding as well. It's also helpful to give each new list or each new status a color. And we will add marketing. We can also add clients. And lastly, I'd just like to add a personal space as well, since it's easier to manage your working week and your dates, etc., when you also know what personal events and commitments you have going on. So we can add our tasks in here, but I would like to move over to the board because I find it easier to manage the tasks when you can see them spread out like this. So some admin tasks could be things like a password list. And this is really helpful. You click on the task. It's really helpful to be able to add attachments. So if you have all of your passwords in a Excel doc, or you're just kind of setting up some new things and you need a place with your sensitive information, then I've got a passwords list, and I find it really, really helpful to keep everything in one place. And then some tasks that you would actually like to add would be setups. So any social media setups or any platforms that you need to set up, you can keep the links in here and you can keep track of what you need to do. You can also add a list within the list. So adding subtasks such as setting up your Substack profile, or setting up other platforms that you may need to create. And you can also add tasks such as registering your company and keeping any information that you need done in there, and maybe you need to pay tax for your company, and that's where the dates are really helpful, because you can put in a due date of when that tax is due. But in your actual task interface, you can add attachments of some inspo that you've seen. So instead of keeping files and images on your computer and then they're getting lost and you can't remember, which Pinterest board it was, etc., etc., you can keep everything that you need for designing your logo in this place, and you can add subtasks such as slogan and pay for Canva Premium and whatever might come up. And it really helps, especially not so much for the logo, but for the so sorry about this thing that is driving me crazy. So a big task such as setting up your website, it really helps to break it down to every single task that is involved in designing your website, such as designing your homepage and designing your about page and doing your favicon and setting up the SEO descriptions and sourcing all of the images and checking the buttons and connecting your social media. And the list really goes on when it comes to designing your website, and it just helps you to have a more realistic expectation of when you are going to be finished with your website by truly seeing how many subtasks are involved in this one big task. You can leave some notes here for yourself and add a checklist, and it's just very helpful. And let's say that you are busy working on your business, you can look at all of your subtasks and decide that it's going to take you 2 weeks if you're really lucky, let's say 3 weeks, and so you put that in the calendar from start dates to finish, and that helps you to plan when you'll be able to start with your newsletters, and just also manage how long it is actually taking you to finish a task such as your website. And then for marketing, again, we can use all of the same features, add in newsletters, launch offers, and a marketing roadmap. And let's say we also have set dates for those, which may be, 1 day for each, or however it works for you. And then the clients, for me, is where these dates become most useful, because I find that it's much easier to manage the work that I have with clients by booking them into dates and knowing how long each project will take me. So let's say I have client 1, I put all of their details in here, including adding their invoice, because it's sometimes really difficult to find the invoice in our email thread, and it's so much easier to refer back to the invoice to make sure that I know how much I need to do, and also to make sure that I'm not doing more than what has been initially agreed upon. And to put all the subtasks in here and any checklists of requirements that I need from them. So if I need some content from them, or I need payment from them, I can work through the checklist and add any documents that they've sent me. And so when I come back to this task, it is ready to go. So let's say I've decided to work on client work in December. So I'll start putting some of my December dates in there. And again, you can, put a start time. Don't know where the start time has gone. Oh, yeah. Start time to an end time. And you can also do time estimates, just so that you can kind of track how long you think a task should take you, and you can always put in afterwards how long it did take you, so that you can gauge better in terms of your own productivity and how much to realistically plan. And then for these clients' task lists, I do like to just duplicate them, because they generally have the checklist of payments, contents, forms, etc. So I would just change everything in there and edit the dates, but it just makes it easy to manage each client in the same way, and you can kind of come in here and remind yourself as to what it is that you need, and make sure that you have your checklist from them, and to start working on the subtasks of your entire project and all that you need to achieve for each client. And then your personal can be, I put in wedding dates, I put some personal commitments that I've made to friends if I'm designing a invite, or I've just said that I would get something to someone by a certain date, then that's what I add in for my personal. And it really helps to have everything together in the calendar, because you can actually see what you'll be working on for each week. And the mind map is just a really fun way if you are trying to start a new business, to just kind of see underneath each list what is needed to do. You can also use this workspace that ClickUp automatically creates for you, and this can kind of be separate from your personal workspace. So if you decide to start hiring copywriters or a social media team or a graphic designer to help you with your logo, then you can put those projects in here. You can add people to these spaces. I think you do that over here by sharing it. So you can share it with their email address, and you can just see very simply what is in progress, what is still to do, and what they've done. And you can ask them to just press complete once something is done, so you can see what they still need to do, what is in progress, and it just kind of minimizes any unnecessary communication. And again, with your weekly organizer, I just want to add in, I tend to work mostly between the boards and the calendar, but I find that if I'm on the day, so say I had passwords and social media content planned for today, I actually tend to move it onto to do, and then as I go through the tasks, I click complete, and then I just add tomorrow's task in here, so that I can already start planning in my mind what I've got to do tomorrow. But these are very general little sort of tasks. I do split my tasks out a lot more detailed, just so that I find that when it's too general and it looks like you only have 2 tasks the next day, it can be a bit deceiving. And so I split it up as much as possible, and then again detail things more in their actual little cards. I hope that helps. Let me know, and if you have any questions about ClickUp, I would be happy to help. Until next time, cheers.